Steady now.
Once Spider-Man 2 released in the mid-2000s, open-world superhero games became trendy for a while. The Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction seemed to be another attempt to cash in on this craze, but with the capable hands of Radical Entertainment behind the wheel, this one finally broke the curse of middling Hulk games. With explosive gameplay that suits the character to a T, plenty of content to keep you busy, and a solid narrative that keeps you engaged, Ultimate Destruction's flaws aren't enough to bury these positives, and it proves a great time for anyone with faint interest in the not-so-jolly Green Giant.
I'm not a person anymore. I'm the Hulk. I did this to myself, all in the name of science.
Bruce Banner, the poor sap who is burdened by an angry side which materializes into a giant green monster, is still trying to find a cure for his affliction after a gamma radiation accident. However, as he is constantly a fugitive of the US Army who deem him their property to reclaim, Banner also finds a new adversary in the form of Emil Blonsky, who after grabbing one of Banner's test tubes after the latter flees their custody, begins to feel changes which pushes him closer to the very thing he despises. The story is really well done, with notable cast members respectably delivering lines such as Neil McDonough and Ron Perlman. The conflict within Bruce, as he battles a proverbial demon inside him which he struggles to keep in control, is compellingly presented here, and Blonsky proves a capable adversary who holds some secrets of his own.
Don't be ridiculous, Blonsky. We'd give away our position.
Corporal, send in a fire team, one round towards the outhouse by the west wall.
Ultimate Destruction follows the template laid out by games like Spider-Man 2. Along with several chapters worth of story missions, you can freely explore two separate sandboxes at your leisure, with the New York-esque cityscape and the dusty Badlands. As Radical's second Hulk game after the 2003 movie tie-in, Banner has no gameplay role in this one, but you can still see some crossover between the two games, including a combo-focused combat system, punching projectiles back at enemies, and a focus on weaponizing the environment, such as picking up lampposts to use as clubs. But there's a lot of new moves too, as larger cars can be pounded into shields to block enemies, helicopters can be jumped onto and thrown down, and SAM units can be utilised with Hulk throwing rockets at his foes. The list of moves you unlock via smash points earned grows with each chapter, and the arsenal of abilities can genuinely change how you approach encounters. Even movement feels glorious, with Hulk's speedy run allowing you to scale buildings, dash across gaps, and perform bone-crunching slams. Perhaps to avoid feeling too overpowered, Hulk faces a ton of opposition in this game, which leads to one of the more notable problems with Ultimate Destruction. On the whole, the game is challenging even on the lowest setting, as one misplaced move can see you costing yourself while still feeling fair. Sometimes this overwhelming combat becomes frustrating once defense, escort, and timed objectives are thrown in. One notable mission, forcing you to defend a building while multiple waves of tanks swarm your location, proves the first example of this. The camera can also be something of a foe too, as it struggles to keep up with frantic movement and the intense action. Outside of story missions, challenges are strewn across each map. These range from the typical, such as timed races and smash challenges, to the outlandish, including a warped version of golf and field golf, which prove pretty fun. Also around the maps are collectible comics, which reward bonus smash points as well as some goofy cheats. You could easily reach the 20-hour mark with this game, and, despite some frustration, it's time well spent. Ultimate Destruction's 2005 release is interesting because while it benefits from a distinctive and chunky style, the visuals aren't the best. The usual caveats of 6th gen sandbox games rear their head, including pop-in, frame rate stutters, and samey looking enemies, with only a handful of similar robots or army men to fight. However, flashy CGs move the story along nicely, and it has some nice lighting and destructive environments, the latter of which fulfills the Hulk smash catchphrase. The sound is far more impressive, with particularly harsh sound effects that capture the stomping footsteps of Hulk, the impactful smash of his punches, and the explosive weaponry used to take him down. The music is, as a result, kind of hard to hear at points, but it does sometimes blend nicely with the thumping effects. As mentioned, the voice work is great, straddling the line between serious and comic book delivery. The Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction is one of the stronger comic book games out there, proving Radical as something of a master when it comes to licensed sandbox games if you include Simpsons Hit and Run. The gameplay captures the intensity of the titular character almost perfectly, even if the stacked Odyssey face can prove frustrating at certain points. But with a compelling story, wacky side content, and tons of upgrades that alter your playing style, these frustrations aren't quite as hard to bear. It's universally considered to be the best game to bear the Hulk's name, and it definitely lived up to that moniker.
Len, how are we going to equip it?
Already thought of that. Here, put this on.
What is it?
Think of it as a video game.